Today we will see a next topic from forensic medicine, that is infanticide. Infanticide, it is again asked as a 10 mark question. In question number 4 it is very commonly asked as a 10 mark question, as well as a few 2 mark questions are also there, and a few short notes are also there. I will go on telling you, I will tell you every time when we will come across such a point. So we'll start with infanticide. First, the meaning of the word infanticide. Infanticide is unlawful destruction of a newborn baby. Means if the baby has just born, just the delivery has taken place, and immediately the baby is killed, maybe for some purpose that we'll see further. So unlawful destruction of a newborn baby, when the baby is killed immediately after birth. But to blame someone or असं कोणावर इन्फंटिसाइडचा आरोप करण्यापूर्वी it is very important, legally it is necessary to prove that the child was born alive. It can happen that the child is stillborn. It may be a stillbirth, म्हणजे इंट्रायुटराईन डेथच झालेली असेल बेबीची, आणि नंतर त्याच्यावर असा आरोप केला जाऊ शकतो की द बेबी वॉज किल्ड आफ्टर इट्स डेथ, आफ्टर इट्स बर्थ, इमिडिएटली आफ्टर द बर्थ. सो इट इज नेसेसरी टू प्रूव दॅट द चाइल्ड वॉज बॉर्न अलाइव. नाउ in which cases or in which incidences this infanticide can take place? First is young unmarried women. Young unmarried women as well as widows. Means unmarried woman, if she has undergone sexual intercourse and she has become pregnant and she has delivered the baby, that baby will be immediately killed after the birth. Another thing is widows. The widows, the woman who has lost her husband, or the woman who is not living with her husband, if she undergoes pregnancy, maybe because of those what we call it as because of illegal contacts. In such cases also, immediately after the birth of the baby will be killed. Then infanticide of a female baby is very common in some communities. For so many years we are looking into that. Government is also looking into that. If the newborn baby is a female child, if it is a female child, it is generally killed. Now you know that intrauterine sex determination and all. And if the newborn baby is found to be a girl, it is killed by the parents or maybe with the help of others, because they want to have a male baby. मेल बी मुलगा पाहिजे असतो, म्हणून मुलगी जन्माला आली की लगेच तिला मारून टाकण्याचे काही प्रकार काही कम्युनिटीजमध्ये होतात. Next is infanticide of a male baby. Now, in which cases it can occur? In case of prostitutes. In case of prostitutes, now exactly opposite to the previous point, where की आम्हाला मुलगाच पाहिजे. Exactly opposite thing is there in the society of prostitutes, where they want the girl. Now you know why. So they don't want a male baby. That's why if a male baby is delivered by a prostitute, it is killed. So infanticide occurs in case it generally happens in case of young unmarried women. What we call it as illegitimate child. We have completed in the last lecture illegitimate child. So if it is illegitimate child, it is killed in case of young unmarried women, in case of widows, and in case of the girls or women who are not living with their husband. Then infanticide of a female baby, it's common in some countries, and infanticide of a male baby in case of prostitutes. Now we'll see how the post-mortem examination, the careful post-mortem examination is to be carried out. So first thing we will have to prove by the post-mortem examination that the baby was alive at the time of death and it was not a stillbirth. So first thing is clothes and wrappings. Clothes and wrappings of the that dead infant. Those clothes will be torn. Old clothes of the mother will be important for identity. म्हणजे आईच्याच काहीतरी जुन्या साड्या वगैरे फाडून त्याची, तुम्हाला मराठीमध्ये शब्द माहिती असेल, लहान मुलांसाठी कपडे वापरले जाते, बाळूतं म्हणतात त्याला, ज्याच्यामध्ये बाळाला गुंडाळून ठेवतात. शक्यतो कॉटनच्या साड्या असतात, त्या कॉटनचं कापड असतं. So clothes and wrappings, the baby or the mother can be identified from the torn old clothes of the mother. जुन्या साडीपासून बनवलेले ते कपड्याचे तुकडे, बाळुती. That is important for identity. Another thing is decomposition changes. decomposition changes will be important for deciding the time since death. नक्की त्या बाळाला मरून किती वेळ झालेला आहे. So time since death will be judged by decomposition changes taking place in the body. So newborn infant's body is sterile. Newborn infant's body is sterile. There is no any contact with the bacteria, viruses as such. So when they breathe, when the baby after the birth, when the baby starts breathing and swallowing, the microorganisms will enter the body either through respiratory tract through breathing or into the gastrointestinal tract through swallowing. In case of stillborn, just I told you, it can happen that the baby it is a stillbirth, means the baby was dead already in the intrauterine life, in the uterus only, and then that dead body has been delivered, a dead baby has been delivered, and it can be blamed as the baby has been killed after the birth. So you will have to prove first that the baby was alive. So in case of stillborn baby, putrefaction can occur only by invasion of body by external organisms. म्हणजे बाहेरून जर काही मायक्रो ऑर्गॅनिझम बॉडीमध्ये एंटर झाले, then only that putrefaction or the changes of decomposition will start. So putrefaction can only occur by invasion of body by external organism, and that's why this type of in case of stillborn, this type of decomposition will occur from विदाउट इनवर्ड्स, बाहेरून आतमध्ये बॉडी सडण्याची जी प्रक्रिया चालू असेल बिकॉज ऑफ मायक्रो ऑर्गॅनिझम्स अँड ऑल, इट विल ऑकर फ्रॉम outside inwards. And in case of live born infant, the baby has already swallowed, the baby has already breathed, so microorganisms will enter the respiratory tract, gastrointestinal tract, and that's why because of the action of these microorganisms which have already entered the body either through breathing or through swallowing, the decomposition changes will start from inside. Got the difference? So in live born infants, putrefaction will start from within outwards, आतून बाहेर. Now next third important point in postmortem examination is body. What changes you will see in the body externally? Vernix caseosa cannot be removed. It persists for 1 to 2 days. It cannot be deliberately removed. Vernix caseosa, it cannot be removed deliberately. It persists for 1 to 2 days. Its presence or absence indicates if body has been washed or not. If the body has been washed, that Vernix caseosa will be lost, and if the body has not been washed, if the baby has not been given any bath or the body has not been washed, it will remain as it is. So Vernix caseosa, it cannot be removed. It persists for 1 to 2 days, and its presence or absence will indicate whether the that baby has been given, that body has been washed or not. Then next is marks of violence. Marks of violence, there can be nail marks, म्हणजे काहीतरी ताकद लावून जोर जबरदस्तीने जर असं मारण्याचा प्रयत्न केलेला असेल त्याला, सो देर विल बी मार्क्स ऑफ व्हायलन्स विल बी सीन ऑन द बॉडी. सो देर विल बी नेल मार्क्स विल बी देर विल बी कंट्युजन अराउंड द नेक अँड माउथ. वाय कंट्युजन अराउंड द, कंट्युजन मीन्स ब्रुइजेस अराउंड द नेक अँड माउथ. इफ द नेक द बेबी हॅज बीन थ्रोटल्ड, गळा दाबला असेल, इफ द बेबी हॅज बीन थ्रोटल्ड ऑर mouth and nose has been compressed for suffocation, नाक तोंड जर दाबलेले असेल, so there will be marks of finger or there will be contusion on the neck or on the mouth and nose and also on the head. There can be foreign body in the mouth and in the upper air passage for choking purpose. Something might have been introduced into the mouth, so and also in the upper respiratory passage. So foreign body can be found in mouth and in the upper air passage. Then condition of natural orifices, whether anything has been pushed or any weapon has been used to injure the baby. So see carefully for the natural orifices like anus and also the vaginal opening and all. Nape of neck for puncture wounds. Again, it is very common sight. This is very common sight which cannot be easily detected. Nape of the neck, मानेची मागची बाजू, it should be seen for puncture wound, म्हणजे सुई किंवा असं टोकदार वस्तू मानेतून आतमध्ये घुसवून the baby can be killed. So nape of the neck should be examined carefully. Another very important thing is umbilical cord. Very careful examination of the umbilical cord should be done. If it has been handled roughly or abnormal twist around the neck of the baby. Abnormal twist around the neck of the baby, there will be compression of the vessels and will lead to asphyxia. So you should see the umbilical cord for knots and displacement of the Wharton's jelly. The cord may have been used as a ligature. असे होऊ शकते की त्या कॉर्डच्या मदतीनेच बाळाच्या गळ्याभोवती फास देऊन त्याला प्रेशर देऊन द बेबी कॅन बी strangulated. So umbilical cord should be examined carefully for abnormal twists. Then because of rough handling it might have been damaged, torn. See for the knots, and the cord might have been used as a ligature, and that's why there will be signs of rough handling and injuries on the cord. Then length and weight of body as well as placenta. Length and weight of the body should be measured whether it is coinciding with the term of the pregnancy. Then maturity or immaturity of infant and intrauterine age, just what I mentioned here. Length and weight of the body and placenta for deciding the maturity or immaturity of the infant with intrauterine age. Mature newborn infant is around 45 to 50 centimeters in length and 2.5 to 3 kg. You know, the weight of the newborn baby is around 2.5 to 3 kg. Varies. In some it can be underweight, in some it can be even overweight. Placenta is around 22 centimeters in diameter with 1.5 centimeter thickness in the center. Then, so after these 3 points, for looking for the clothes and wrappings around the baby, decomposition changes whether they are starting from without or from within, and these different external signs of the body. Now next important point in postmortem examination is maceration or mummification. What is maceration? And that is the drying of the body. Drying of the body, maceration or mummification. If the body has been mummified, it can be because of intrauterine death. So if the intrauterine death has occurred, the baby will be delivered with the changes of mummification, that is drying of the body. Then also see carefully for malformations and injuries at the time of birth. Maybe because of application of forceps and other instruments for forceful delivery, there can be trauma to the head of the baby or to the brain. Now very important is internal examination. Very important is internal examination. So internally see for the injury to the head, whether there is any injury to the head, like injuries to the fontanelles. These are the spaces where the sutures are not closed, because you know these two sides where the sutures are not closed, or they close during the life after the birth. Two sides, one is exactly on the vertex and another in the occipital region. So these fontanelles where the brain is very much exposed because of lack of those bones, here there can be puncture wounds. So to kill the infant, the needle or any other pointed weapon can be pushed through these fontanelles into the brain, and it can cause death of the baby. So see carefully for any puncture injury to the fontanelles. Then hemorrhages and laceration of brain. There can be hemorrhages and laceration of the brain. They can be because of delivering the baby, while delivering the baby, or any trauma or any hit on the head by some hard object like that. Then see for the neck. Carefully see for the neck whether there is any internal injury, injury to the trachea. See carefully for foreign body, anything that has been introduced to the mouth, into the respiratory tract, or amniotic fluid. Amniotic fluid might have been inhaled and it will cause protective laryngospasm, that is laryngospasm, and it will make the baby difficult breathing. Then thorax, whether the chest is dome shaped or flat, that will be indicative of whether the baby has breathed or not. Whether the chest is dome shaped or whether it is flat. Then lungs, very important thing, lungs, because it will give you good idea whether the baby has breathed or not. म्हणजे जन्मानंतर बाळाने श्वासोश्वास घेतला होता का, म्हणजे बाळ जन्मानंतर जिवंत होतं की नाही, हे डिसाइड करण्यासाठी यू विल हॅव टू केअरफुली सी फॉर द लंग्स. सो सी फॉर द व्हॉल्यूम ऑफ द लंग, color of the lungs, their consistency, wet and importantly hydrostatic test. This hydrostatic test is asked as a 5-mark short note. So hydrostatic test is very important, which is important to decide whether the baby was born alive or it was a stillbirth. I'll just tell you in short about the hydrostatic test. What it is done here, if infant is found to be dead, during post-mortem examination lung is taken out. The lung is chopped into small pieces. असे छोटे छोटे क्यूब्स, छोटे छोटे तुकडे करतात लंगचे, and these pieces of the lungs are allowed, they are left in the water. असे पाण्यामध्ये सोडतात ते. If the baby has breathed, what will happen? Because of the presence of air in the lung, those pieces of the lung will float. Those pieces. So if the pieces of the lung float in the water, that means the baby had breathed. And if it is a stillbirth, the air has not entered the lung, that's why those pieces of the lung will go to the bottom, they will sink. That is called as hydro means water. That is called a hydrostatic test. You got? So the importance of hydrostatic test is, it is to decide whether it was a stillbirth or the baby was alive after the birth. So if the baby has breathed, the pieces of lung, they will contain the air in the bronchial tree, and that's why they will float, indicative of the baby was alive after the birth and it has breathed. And if the pieces sink to the bottom, that means the baby had never breathed, it was a stillbirth, and that's why there is no air entry into the lungs. It is asked as a 5-mark short note as well as 2-mark question. That is hydrostatic test. Then abdomen, see for the contents of the stomach, whether there is any poisonous substance or any foreign thing that has been found, which can cause the death or injury to the stomach. So see carefully for the contents of the stomach. Then intestines also should be examined carefully. Genitalia for injury, any puncture injury or any other trauma that has been caused to the genitalia, see for carefully. Then limbs and sternum can be pressed firmly, it can be pressed firmly to cause compression of the chest. That's why it should be seen carefully. And limbs for any other injury on the hands as well as on the legs. So these are the careful internal examination during post-mortem examination in case of infanticide. Now we'll see medical legal aspect. If any newborn baby is found to be dead, what is its medical legal aspect? So in medical legal aspect, we will have to see first thing whether the child was stillborn or dead, or deadborn, whether the child was stillborn or deadborn. And secondly, was the child born alive? And thirdly, if born alive, how long did the child live? पहिली गोष्ट, we will have to see first, was the child stillborn or deadborn? Stillborn child means a child born after 28 weeks of gestation, that is age of viability. साधारण 7 महिन्यानंतर, 28 आठवडे म्हणजे 7 महिन्यानंतर जर बेबीचा जन्म झाला असेल, दॅट व्हॉट वी कॉल इट एज ऑफ व्हायबिलिटी. 7 महिन्यानंतर जर जन्म झाला तर बाळ जगू शकतं, अँड डिड नॉट शो एनी साइन ऑफ लाईफ. Stillborn child means a child born after 28 weeks of gestation, after which the baby can live but did not show any sign of life. Then dead boy child is one which has died in uterus and has any sign of rigor mortis or maceration or mummification. म्हणजे ऑलरेडी त्याचं ड्राईंग चालू झालेलं आहे किंवा रायगर मॉर्टिस झालेलं आहे इन द इंट्रायुटरन लाईफ ओनली, दॅट इज कॉल्ड एज डेड बॉर्न चाइल्ड. इफ इट इज अ रायगर मॉर्टिस, you know what happens in rigor mortis? Stiffness of all the muscles, so it can cause difficulties in the labor. Then maceration occurs if the death has occurred in the uterus, and this maceration occurs because of aseptic autolysis, because there is no any bacteria involved in the degeneration, in the decomposition of the body. That's why we are calling it as aseptic autolysis. स्वतःहून ती बॉडीज डिकम्पोज व्हायला सुरुवात करते, what we call it as maceration. So softening of the dead fetus, in the intrauterine life, softening of the dead fetus and degeneration of the tissues will occur here. The process is sterile because the fetus is enclosed in a membrane, what we call it as that placental membrane. The baby is enclosed in the placental membrane, So there is no chance of invasion by any bacteria, and that's why the process is sterile. So softening of dead fetus and degeneration of the tissues, the process is absolutely sterile without any involvement of the microorganism, and everything is occurring in a sterile condition. And death after the 2 to 3 days, if the death occurs, death for 2 to 3 days, fetus appears fairly normal. The fetus appears fairly normal. Skin is soft, degeneration of nuclear structures, and disintegration of the cells of muscle tissues and internal organs. Cells of muscle tissues and internal organs will show the disintegration. Then cellular tissues and organs are soft and edematous. Cellular tissues and organs are soft and edematous. Skull bones will override each other because the intracranial, everything has its material has been reduced in quantity or volume. That's why they will override each other. It is called a Spaulding sign. The skull bones will overlap with each other. If the membranes are ruptured after the death of the fetus, air will enter the liquor amniae. And fetus undergoes putrefaction instead of maceration ऐवजी putrefaction means सडण्याची प्रक्रिया चालू होईल, and it will cause unpleasant odor with gas formation. Nauseating unpleasant odor will be there to the body of the fetus. Then mummification. What is mummification? Deficient blood supply and scanty liquor amnia, that is dryness, complete dryness. So deficient blood supply and scanty liquor amnia, and no air has entered the uterus. The fetus will get dried up and will get shriveled. पूर्णपणे असं कडक, एकदम कडक अशी लेदरी, सगळं एकदम हार्ड होऊन जाईल ती बॉडी बिकॉज ऑफ कंप्लीट ड्रायनेस. So you will have to see that whether the child was stillborn or deadborn. Then next is was the child born alive. It is very important. म्हणजे जर त्याच्यामध्ये कुठलंही लाईफचं साईन असेल, जिवंत असल्याचं साईन असेल युटरसमधून बाहेर आल्यानंतर, डिलेवरीनंतर, इफ द चाइल्ड वॉज बॉर्न अलाइव, that can give you a good evidence that the infanticide has occurred, की त्याला नंतर जन्मानंतर मारण्यात आलेलं आहे. सो आफ्टर द कंप्लीट एक्सट्रूजन फ्रॉम मदर, म्हणजे बेबी आईपासून सेपरेट झाल्यानंतर, इरिस्पेक्टिव्ह ऑफ अटॅचमेंट ऑर सिव्हरन्स ऑफ कॉर्ड, म्हणजे त्याचा अम्बिलिकल कॉर्ड कट केलेला असेल नसेल, द बेबी हॅज कम आउट ऑफ द युटरस, द फुल डिलिव्हरी हॅज ऑकर्ड. It exhibits some signs of life like crying, movements of the limb, movements of the eyelids, respiration, pulsation. All these are the signs of life. Crying असेल, whether the umbilical cord is cut or not, that is not the factor. The signs of crying, movement of the limbs, movements of the eyelids, respiration and pulsation, all these things will be found. Then evidence on post-mortem examination. If the post-mortem examination is carried out in a baby who was alive for some time after the birth, what changes you will find? So there will be signs of establishment of respiration. काहीतरी थोडंफार तरी respiration झालं होतं बेबीचं जन्मानंतर. So those signs of establishment of respiration will be seen on post-mortem examination. So it produces the physical changes in the chest, lungs, stomach and bowel. So what changes will be seen on the chest? The chest is flat before respiration. म्हणजे बेबी जन्मानंतर जर त्यांनी कुठल्याही प्रकारचं रेस्पिरेशन केलेलं नसेल, अजिबात ब्रिदिंग केलेलं नसेल, चेस्ट इज फ्लॅट. बट वन्स द बेबी हॅज स्टार्टेड ब्रिदिंग, इट विल बिकम आर्च्ड, म्हणजे बाहेरून तिला थोडीशी कॉन्व्हेक्सिटी येईल. देर विल बी कॉन्व्हेक्सिटी, दॅट इज इट विल बिकम आर्च्ड ऑर ड्रम शेप्ड ऑन फुल रेस्पिरेशन. आकार बदलेल, फ्लॅटची ती थोडीशी कॉन्व्हेक्स होईल. देन सर्कम्फरन्स इज लेस दॅन दॅट ऑफ ॲबडोमेन बिफोर रेस्पिरेशन. सर्कम्फरन्स ऑफ द चेस्ट इज लेस दॅन ॲबडोमिनल सर्कम्फरन्स बिफोर रेस्पिरेशन. पण जर बेबी अलाइव असेल, बेबीनी रेस्पिरेशन केलेलं असेल, तर व्हॉट विल हॅपन? Now the circumference will increase because of increased volume of the lungs, because of entry of air into the lungs. The overall size of the lung will be increased, the chest will expand, and now the circumference of the chest will be more than abdomen. Then highest point of diaphragm is at the level of third or fourth rib if respiration has not occurred. And if the respiration has occurred, just I told you, because of increased volume of the lungs will also move downwards and will push the diaphragm downwards, and that's why the marking of the diaphragm, the highest point of the diaphragm will be at the level of 6th to 7th rib, which is thoda sa khali जाईल diaphragm. And if the baby has not breathed, it will be very much up, that will at the level of 3rd to 4th rib. Then what signs will be seen in the lungs, whether the baby has breathed or not, whether the baby was alive after the birth or not. Lungs are lying at the back of the thoracic cavity behind heart and thymus gland when the respiration has not taken place. If the baby has not respired, it is a dead born child, what we call, or stillborn. Lungs are lying at the back of thoracic cavity behind the heart and behind the thymus gland. The pleura is loose and wrinkled because lungs have not expanded. Lungs have not expanded at all. That's why the pleura will be wrinkled. Then its color and consistency. The lungs are small, smooth, uniform, dark blue or red colored with sharp edge and lever-like. They will appear lever-like because no air has entered the lung. And sharp edge, you might have seen the specimen of the lung in the anatomy lab. The edges of the lung are not sharp, they are rounded, blunt. They are blunt, rounded. But if the baby has not breathed, they will appear sharp. The edges will be sharp in case of no respiration. If the baby has not respired after the birth, the edges will be sharp and they will become smooth, rounded only if the baby has respired. Then there will be no crepitance or squeezing. पोस्टमॉर्टम एक्झामिनेशन मध्ये तुम्ही लंग जर बोटाने दाबली, देर विल नॉट बी क्रिपिटंट, म्हणजे आतमध्ये हवा गॅस असेल तर काय होईल, क्रिपिटन्स, असा हवेचा आवाज येईल ना, बुडबुड्यांचा, हवेच्या बुडबुड्यांचा, दॅट इज क्रिपिटन्स. दॅट क्रिपिटन्स विल बी absent if the baby has never respired. Uncut section, if the lung is cut, the lung will be solid and will exude blood but no froth. अजिबात एअर एंट्री आतमध्ये झालेली नाही, that's why it will show only the blood and no frothing will be there because air has not at all entered. And sink in the water, we have seen in the hydrostatic test. We have seen in the hydrostatic test, see this one, hydrostatic test. So okay, I'll just go back to the same point. Okay, sink in the water. If the baby has never respired because of lack of air, the pieces of the lung will sink to the bottom, and if the baby has respired because of presence of air in the lung, they will float. The pieces of the lung will float in the water. What we call it as hydrostatic test. Now what changes will be there in the lungs if the respiration has occurred. If the baby, now here we have seen lungs when the respiration has not taken place, and here in the changes in the lung if the respiration has occurred. So after the birth, if the baby has respired, काही मिनिटांसाठी का होईना बेबीने जर श्वासोच्छ्वास घेतला असेल, रेस्पिरेशन केलं असेल, the lungs will distend. The lungs will be distended and fill the thoracic cavity overlapping the heart. And in case of non-respired lung, if the baby was dead at the time of birth only, lungs will be small and behind the heart and thymus, but they will after the respiration they will distend. The lungs will be distended and they will fill the thoracic cavity overlapping the heart. Then pleura will become taut, that is tight. The pleura will become tight because of expansion of the lung by air. Then uneven surface due to expanded air vesicles and round edges. Edges will be round, just I told you. In case of non-respired lung, the edges will be sharp like lever, and in respired lung the edges will be round. The lung is light red in color. There will be crepitant on the pressure. आतमध्ये एअर असल्यामुळे, ब्रॉन्कियल ट्रीमध्ये एअर असल्यामुळे when you will press it, you will feel that आतमध्ये काहीतरी हवा, एअर आहे. That is crepitant. हवा आतमध्ये असल्यासारखा तुम्हाला बुडबुड्यांचा आवाज जाणवेल. What we call it as crepitance. and it will exude frothy blood on cut section. आतमध्ये ब्लड तर असेलच पण त्याच्याबरोबर फ्रॉथ पण येईल बिकॉज ऑफ प्रेझेन्स ऑफ एअर. सो दिस एअर विल कम आउट in the form of froth when the lung is cut, and the pieces of lung will float on the water, what we have seen in hydrostatic test. Okay, I already explained you about this hydrostatic test. I'll just revise. Lungs with bronchi, trachea and larynx intact is to be kept in a okay, these are all the details of hydrostatic test, how it is to be conducted. Lungs with bronchi, trachea and larynx intact म्हणजे त्याचा bronchi, ट्रकिया, लॅरिंग्स काहीही सेपरेट करायचं नाही. द लंग्स विथ ब्रॉन्काय, ट्रॅकिया अँड लॅरिंग्स इंटॅक्ट. इट इज टू बी केप्ट इन अ कंटेनर कंटेनिंग वॉटर टू सी इफ दे फ्लोट. ईच लंग इज देन टेस्टेड सेपरेटली. देन ईच लंग इज टू बी कट इन टू 10 to 20 बीट्स अँड टेस्टेड फॉर फ्लोटेशन. पहिल्यांदा अख्खी लंग पाण्यात टाकून बघायची सगळ्या लॅरिंग्स आणि ट्रॅकिया सहित. नंतर each lung is separately to be tested and each lung is to be cut into 10 to 20 bits, and these pieces of the lung are to be tested for flotation. Each bit is then firmly pressed to expel the gases of decomposition and again tested. The floating lung is a proof. I told you, floating lung is a proof that lung has been fully expanded and respiration has been in the operation. That means the baby was alive after the delivery, and it is surely a case of infanticide. Then next very important point is, if born alive, how long did the child live? म्हणजे बाळ जिवंत जन्माला आलंय, the baby was alive at the time of birth, but how long did the child live? किती वेळापर्यंत ते जिवंत होतं. So changes in the skin will tell you about the life of the baby. Vernix caseosa, that is the covering over the skin. It remains for 1 to 2 days if the baby is untouched. Then bright red at the time of birth will become slightly darker on 2 to 3 days. Now you know that you will study in detail in third year obstetrics how the changes take place in the baby. So bright red skin at the time of birth, dark on 2 to 3 days. There will be physiological jaundice in 3 to 6 days of period. म्हणजे साधारण पहिल्या आठवड्यामध्ये बाळाला जॉन्डिस होतो का? You might be knowing the hemoglobin percent is very high. Hemoglobin percent at the time of death is very high. आपलं नॉर्मली ॲडल्टमध्ये जसं 12-14 वगैरे असतं, इन्फंटमध्ये बरंच 18-20 वगैरे असं हिमोग्लोबिन पर्सेंट असतं. सो इट इज अराउंड 18-20 ग्राम पर्सेंट. बट ॲज द फिटस गोज ॲडव्हान्सिंग विथ द एज, म्हणजे 2-3-4 दिवसांचं झाल्यानंतर RBC स्टार्ट ब्रेकिंग डाऊन. सो मॅसिव्ह, दॅट इज फिजियोलॉजिकल, वॉट वी कॉल इट ॲज फिजियोलॉजिकल जॉन्डिस, बिकॉज इट इज नॉर्मल, नॉट गिविंग राईज टू एनी साइन्स अँड सिम्टम्स. दॅट्स वाय इट इज कॉल्ड ॲज फिजियोलॉजिकल जॉन्डिस. So within a period of 3 to 6 days, because of breakdown of the RBCs, now gradually the RBC count will go down and it will come to the our usual or adult type of hemoglobin or RBC count. So hemoglobin will also come down to 14-15 like that. So because of breakdown of the RBC, large amount of bilirubin will be secreted and the baby will have jaundice, yellow discoloration of eyes, skin, mucous membrane, conjunctiva and all. So baby will develop physiological jaundice within first week and will come back to the original normal color within 7 to 10 days. After the completion of 1 week, the baby will come back to its normal body color. Then caput succedaneum. Caput succedaneum is a condition where there is edematous swelling of presenting part of the head during delivery. म्हणजे डोक्याचा जो भाग पहिल्यांदा डिलिव्हर होतो, जो वजानामध्ये पुश होतो युटरसकडून, बिकॉज ऑफ द प्रेशर ऑफ द इंटरनल ऑस, एक्सटर्नल ऑस, देर इज प्रेशर ऑन द हेड and that's why it undergoes edema. That is called as caput succedaneum. Edematous swelling of the presenting part of the head. Presenting means the part which is coming out first during the delivery. Presenting part of the head during delivery undergoes gets some edema and it disappears within 7 to 10 days after delivery. That is the normal range. So it will disappear within 7 to 10 days after delivery. Then umbilical cord. The clotting at the cut end after 2 hours. जिथून कापलेलं आहे तिथे साधारण 2 तासामध्ये क्लॉटिंग होईल. इट बिगिन्स टू डेसिकेट ऑन फर्स्ट डे, म्हणजे आता वाळायला सुकायला सुरुवात होईल. इट विल स्टार्ट डेसिकेटिंग ऑन फर्स्ट डे, विल ममिफाय विदिन 3 days अँड विल ड्रॉप ऑफ, आपोआप गळून जाईल विदिन 5 to 7 days. साधारण 1 आठवड्यामध्ये अम्बिलिकल कॉर्ड, ती बाळाची नाळ, अम्बिलिकल कॉर्ड जो बेंबीपासून कापलेला असतो, थोडासा जो त्याचा स्टंप शिल्लक असतो बेंबीजवळ, अम्बिलिकजवळ, तो साधारण आठवड्याभरामध्ये गळून जातो. अँड विल हील अँड स्कार फॉर्मेशन ॲट द अम्बिलिकस विदिन 10 to 12 days. दॅट इज द नॉर्मल progress of that injury. So umbilical cord, there will be clotting within 2 hours after cutting. Then it will start drying on first day, will get mummified within 3 days. म्हणजे अगदी असा रिंकल्स, सुरकुत्या पडून काळा पडून जाईल तो ड्राय होऊन. अँड विल ड्रॉप ऑफ बाय इट्स ओन विदिन 5 to 7 days. 1 आठवड्यामध्ये तो गळून जातो. अँड हिलिंग विल ऑकर ॲट द अम्बिलिकस विदिन 10 to 12 days. Then circulation, umbilical arteries, veins, ductus arteriosus, ductus venosus and foramen ovale, they all will undergo obliteration. Now I will not go in detail with that because I think you have not studied embryology. I think it has not been completed. You will not understand these terminologies, ductus venosus, ductus arteriosus and foramen ovale. You will study it in detail in second year in pathology also. And these ductus arteriosus and foramen ovale will undergo obliteration and the fetal circulation will be converted into adult circulation. The umbilical artery will be shrunken in a few hours after birth. Umbilical vein and ductus venosus will close within 4 to 5 days. They will close within 4 to 5 days. Ductus arteriosus will close completely by 7 to 10 days of age. साधारण 7 ते 10 दिवसांचं बाळ झालं की डक्टस आर्टेरियोसस पूर्णपणे बंद होऊन जातो. फोरामेन ओव्हेल याला सगळ्यात जास्त वेळ लागतो. फोरामेन ओव्हेल विल क्लोज विदिन 2 to 3 months of age. It can remain for 2 years and occasionally, rarely it can occur patent throughout the life. Then fetal hemoglobin, I have already told you, fetal hemoglobin at 5 months of intrauterine life, in 94% of hemoglobin is of fetal type. At birth it is 80% and 6 months all the hemoglobin is changed to the adult type. बाळ 6 महिन्याचं होईपर्यंत the hemoglobin is converted into adult type. So fetal hemoglobin at 5th month of intrauterine life, 94 of hemoglobin is of fetal type. At the birth it is 80% and as the baby advances in the age, it will gradually get converted into adult type. All hemoglobin in the blood will be converted into adult type by 6 months of age. Now fourth very important thing is what was the cause of the death, whether it was a natural death, whether it was an accidental death or criminal cause. So natural causes may be because of immaturity, means the baby might have been delivered very early before the completion of the 7 months of pregnancy. जर लवकर डिलिव्हरी झाली असेल बाळाची, so it can be because of immaturity, it can be because of general debility, it can be because of some congenital anomalies or malformations or syphilis or any other viral infection if the pregnant lady is suffering from any viral infection, or syphilis or specific fevers affecting the mother as well as child in the during intrauterine life, and spasm of the larynx because of aspiration of the meconium. If the baby has passed stool in the intrauterine life and they might have been swallowed by the baby or might have inhaled by the baby, they will enter the larynx. It will cause laryngospasm and will cause aspiration pneumonitis and even the asphyxia. Then hemorrhage from umbilical cord. Hemorrhage from umbilical cord, stomach, rectum or genitalia. Placenta previa, I will not go in detail with that. Placenta previa, it is the abnormal position of the placenta that you will study in third year. Abnormal position of the placenta in the uterus, it can cause difficulty in labor, in the delivery, and can cause death of the baby. And lastly, erythroblastosis fetalis, that is because of Rh incompatibility. Because of Rh incompatibility, there can be massive, if the mother is Rh negative and she delivers the Rh positive baby, there can be some leakage of blood into the there can be exchange of that different groups of blood, because both of them are having different blood groups. If the exchange occurs, it can cause breakdown of the RBC. The condition is called as erythroblastosis fetalis, and it can cause death of the baby. So these are the causes of death in case of natural causes of the death. There can be accidental causes, accident during delivery, trauma to the head while using forceps delivery, or rough handling, or maybe because of some choking, or any entry of material into the respiratory tract. It can cause accidental death. And criminal causes, as we have seen, maybe by using some weapon, or strangulating, or putting the needles into the fontanelle, into the neck, compressing the chest, compressing mouth and nose. Any can be there in case of criminal causes. So this is all about infanticide. It is asked as a 10-mark question. We just study properly once again. Go through all the notes which I have already sent in the group, all the notes of forensic medicine and toxicology. Okay, we'll stop here. Thank you.